To all members of our public for attending. Let's start with salute to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's see, where's my, okay, can I have a roll call, please?
President Dameron,
Present.
Commissioner Chang Corrali,
Present.
Commissioner Mathush,
Present.
Commissioner Slater Carter,
Here.
Commissioner Zemke.
Present.
Okay, this is the part of the agenda where we have public comment that is not part of the rest of the agenda, the formal agenda. So we had one comment that was sent via email. I will note that that comment has been sent in and we will add that to the meeting. And then we have one person who would like to speak for a item not on the agenda. She is asking for 3 minutes instead of 2 minutes, so I will grant that wish for 3 minutes. Would you like? Yes, please come up. Thank you.
Good morning.
Turn your mic on. Push the button. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Birgitta Bauer. I want to read what the General Manager Pruitt sent to me on Harbor letterhead at the PDF named Bauer Harassment. It has been reported that on February 28, 2026, you entered onto Harbor District property at Surface Beach and aggressively confronted and harassed several members of the public and guests of the Pillar Point RV Park. Specifically, it was reported that they were raising a voice and yelling at members of the public, stating that the parking area is for the public only and not for the RV park. It has also been reported that while you were engaged in the harassing activity, you left your vehicle unattended and parked in the fire lane, blocking other vehicles from leaving and/or parking. Your actions have caused concerns with members of the public visiting the Surface Beach restroom and green space area, including Pillar Point RV Park. This report is fabricated. Mr. Pruitt provided a photo of a Lexus, and when the photo was put on Nextdoor, the owner replied, "She's a 60-year-old Half Moon Bay resident, 5'5" tall, and she pulled her Lexus into the Surface Beach parking lot to use the restroom." There were no free spots. She mentioned to a man getting out of a truck that she would only be parked briefly to use the restroom. Upon returning, she found the man had been joined by a woman and a younger man with curly hair. She could not understand why they were so agitated, so she tried smiling and apologizing for parking the way she did and hurriedly drove off. When she read Mr. Pruitt's version of the incident, she felt violated. Indeed, how would a person defend herself in this situation? Mr. Pruitt is painting a picture of a one-person riot, apparently witnessed by some dozen terrified members of the public. Good luck defending yourself. Luckily, in this case, the fabrication of an alleged incident was easily disproven. But the act of using authority is chilling. Mr. Pruitt is an attorney. He knows what he's doing. He sends out his letter with Harbor letterhead as a PDF titled Bauer Harassment, with defamatory accusations supposedly based on secondhand information. The timeline of this action makes it a clear act of retaliation. Therefore, I ask the board to take immediate and specific action. I demand a formal public investigation into General Manager Pruitt's practice of using unconfirmed accusatory letters on Harbor letterhead and the establishment of a clear policy to prevent this abuse of authority from ever happening again. Thank you. I want this, I'm gonna put it online so you can put it in the comments.
Thank you. Do we have any comments from the public online?
Hold on, please.
Yeah.
Smitty? Oh,
Smitty, go ahead. You can
Good
talk.
morning. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
All right. First, I have two comments to make. First, I want to thank Mr. Pruitt for including me in the Caltrains meeting here that'll be coming up here. The second item, it's with heavy heart that I am reporting to you that Robert Hansen has passed on. Robert Hansen, he was 77. I first met Robert Hansen in 1980 and we became best friends. Robert Hansen started working for the Harbor District in 1985 when he helped with, and I helped him with a referral with that back when McMahon was here. He served this district with honor and distinction, running and operating several SARs in conjunction with Harbor Master Dan Temko. He retired after 20 years of service in 2005. He then went to work the bait shop in the harbor here for a few years, and he also had a liverboard that he lived in the harbor for several years as well. He was a fixture of our community until his health started failing him. He loved this harbor. Even in his final days, whenever I talked to him, he always wanted to know what the local scuttlebutt in the harbor was. It's going to be my honor to bury him when the time comes. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. We do have, anybody else online right now?
Sid Young.
Sid Young. Okay.
Sid, go ahead.
After Sid, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Just want to make sure you can hear me.
Yep, we can hear you loud and clear.
All right. Thank you. I was just going to comment on the sad feeling I had when the Harbor District decided to stop negotiating with Pelagic and take away their opportunity to make good on their previous lease agreements and rent reductions that you guys had offered them. I know you guys are a business and you have to keep your money in check, but as far as the harbor is concerned, you didn't think much about the public that likes to go down there and dine at restaurants, etc. Now you're going to have an empty storefront until this gets resolved. Although maybe you're planning somehow to lease it out to Sam's, who's going to lose all their parking shortly. I don't know. Someone made a comment on Saturday on the meeting I attended via Zoom about the parking lot that you have plans, but they can't talk about it yet. So I don't know what that meant. Maybe somebody, whoever said that, it was one of the commissioners, I believe, would like to elaborate. But I think the public is very upset that you couldn't work something out with Pelagic and their health situation and offer them a little more.
Dante.
What? Who's shouting? Anyway, I still have time to think on the clock. What? Who's shouting? Anyway.
Go ahead, Sid.
Thank you. So I'm so sorry about their closing down, especially now that we have a wonderful season going with warm weather and visitors coming to the coast, etc., to come down to the harbor and find an empty storefront. So I guess the only thing I can say to the general public is try to support them by attending by patronizing Jetty Wave, which is still open and not subject to the harbor's rent issues. Thank you very much. Bye.
Great. Thank you for your comments.
Now we have Brian Overfeld. Brian, go ahead.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Awesome. I got a little thing I'd like to read y'all. it was the 1986-87 school year, and I was a freshman at Half Moon Bay High. I distinctly remember listening to a group of older surfers discussing the sand trapped in the harbor and it needed to be dredged out. Then the bell rang. As I walked away and headed to my first period, my only thought was, I'm going to make that happen. I immediately took on this place of responsibility like this was my burden to fix. It will be my contribution to this community I love so much and to a sport lifestyle I was falling in love with. Beach nourishment for Surfers Beach and flowing south into the starving Bay Half Moon Bay became my goal. You see, in the 80s, El Granada Breakwater was a full-on beach scene, a thriving beach community where all local surfers gathered and hung out, old, young, men, women, kids, families. A beach community that went fully extinct, like a dried up watering hole in the Sahara. 10 years later, I was bartending at the local fisherman bar. Around 95, 96, I struck up a conversation with Harbor Commissioner Sally Campbell, who looked at me in shock and said, "Do you really care about that?" "Yes, ma'am, I do," I replied. "Well, let's make it happen," she said. Little did I know it would take 30 years after this conversation to see it to fruition. Here's to Sally, but more importantly, here's to all of you. Virginia Chang Crawley, Catherine Slater Carter, Tom Matouche, Bill Zemke, George Domerat, Jim Pruitt, and the rest of the district staff that believes in this project and helped make the dredge happen. I truly appreciate the ears some of you have given me and the time you all have spent listening to me go on and on and on about how important dredging the harbor is. I'm 100% correct, and we need to dredge again as soon as possible. But nevertheless, I am grateful. I have always cherished my relationships I've had with decades of commissioners, harbor masters, and all the staff here in the Pillar Point Harbor. I'm keeping journals and videos of photos of epic beach and wave progress I will be sharing. One quick excerpt. 3:18, approximately 6:45 p.m., El Granada Breakwater, newly formed sandbar. My 10-year-old daughter Steele stood up and rode her first wave of her life last night, just before sunset. Then she successfully rode 5 more waves until the sun was down. The beach community is returning and thousands of locals are happy. On behalf of all of us, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else online? Let me, I'm gonna go offline. I know that Donald has been waiting, so Donald has a comment that's also off of the agenda. So please, Donald.
Oh, I really don't mind waiting. All I got to do this morning is get a root canal, and hopefully this won't be in Half Moon Bay. Hopefully this won't be as bad. The reason I came here today, I'd like to thank Brian for all the work he's done. I haven't been to one of these meetings since Sally Campbell was here, and that's a while ago. And the reason I'm here today is what drew me to the coast and open a business within half a mile of, I live within half a mile of the harbor, is I've always loved to sail, and I've sailed into many ports through the world with my family. And the thing we always enjoy most of all is a lot of the time it's rough getting in, and sometimes it takes a long time and you're not feeling good and you haven't eaten in a while. And I remember coming into this harbor 37 years ago and going to the Ketch, and how grateful I was, and so many fishermen, for having that there. Just a regular place that regular people can go to. Why I'm here today is it is no longer a regular place, and this is going the same way of all these other harbors. It's going really foo-foo. And I've always loved it being a working harbor, and I've always been proud when I've had people come from other areas to boast how this is a working, regular harbor. And what's going on right now is you guys have gotten taken advantage of, okay? Now, I've had issues. I had heart attack, I had bypass, I've had loved ones too, had cancer. They're not with us anymore. I've been through this, and it's hard, but I've never, ever, even with COVID, I had to close my business because I couldn't afford to pay my rent in Half Moon Bay. My landlord of 20 years, he never gave me a break. And just after 2 months of being in arrears, I closed the business. So I don't want to hear any more of this poor mouth from an LLC with lots of people there, not just one person, and people with a part of that on that lease who have
plenty of other ways, real estate, other ways to bring in an income. That is a lot of money to be missing, $155,000. And what really burns me is when I go to the restaurant and I go there is
Donald,
the
time's up.
tax that is put on
Okay.
the 4.5% tax, not receiving that. So I feel bad for the staff. I was down there Saturday. The staff are not happy. And so
So,
I
okay.
excuse me, I hope this all works out, but I don't think dealing with someone who's taken advantage of you to this point, this should have been shut off a long time ago.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time.
Great. Online? Okay. Hearing once, twice. No more public comments, and we don't have any. Okay, commissioner comments.
I just wanted to let everyone know that you got this 40th anniversary SDRMA pin. We had an SDR, so this is the Special District Risk Management Authority, which provides the insurance coverage for the Harbor District and many other special districts and smaller agencies across the state. And there was an education day, I think yesterday, and we also had a board meeting yesterday. Oh, sorry. Should I start over, Melanie?
No, just.
Okay,
keep going.
okay. We had, there's an education day for SDRMA and a board meeting yesterday. So I just wanted to let everyone know that SDRMA is very appreciative of the Harbor Business being a member of the SDRMA, and that they're very proud to represent and provide insurance coverage across the state of California. And this is just a little token of their appreciation, but also the 40th anniversary, which is an important
I
milestone.
thought you're celebrating my 40th birthday today.
No, unfortunately, George, is today your birthday?
No, but
Well,
30.
happy
30
birthday
years
whenever
too
it
late.
is.
Years
Thank
too-
you. And Jim went to the education day. So thank you for representing the Harbor District, Jim.
Oh, Catherine, you have any comments other than the phone? comment?
No,
Okay.
my comments are pretty brief. I am
Maybe you can
pleased.
turn your
Oh,
thing on too.
and it's even got my name on it now. Wow. Progress. I just wanted to say I am pleased so many people looking at social media and so many people are following the Harbor District in so many different ways. We have so many different things that we can be very, very proud of. And in particular, putting the sand back where it belongs and so people can enjoy it. So to everyone, thank you for paying attention. Thank you for giving us your opinions. We need your opinions, plus, minus, negative, neutral, whatever, because we represent everybody in San Mateo County. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Tom.
All right. I'm going to ask the Harbor District to undergo a review of the entire commercial activity permit process regarding charter boats. By way of a little history, there used to be 16 permits allocated for the Harbor District. 8 were assigned through a current leaseholder. 8 were held by the district. In the 1990s, there were 15 large boats, 50 to 65 feet, that had these permits. There's a big change in the way the vessels are allocated permits now. Instead of big boats, we have a lot of 6-pack or OUPV vessels. And that's a far cry from the type of boats that used to be able to take out 49 people per vessel. You look at the good salmon years that we used to have, we could take out like up to 300 people on a day. And that would have been something for the Harbor District for revenue. Currently, if you put out half a dozen or 8 the OUPV 6-pack boats, you're talking about $4 to $6 people per vessel. That doesn't equal the impact of fishing and the resource that 20 to 49 people had. So I'd like to review the entire process. Why does the bait shop have 8 commercial activity permits when they use one and kicked out several of the other charter boat holders in the past? Review all the caps and how they're rated. When I was sitting on the Dungeness Crab Task Force Whale Entanglement Group, there was a way that they classified entanglements, and a during crab season entanglement counted as like 1/4. I don't know if it's time to look at the 6-pack boats as not being a full commercial activity boat, or do we change the entire process? There's a plethora of charter boats that want to come in. I've gotten many phone calls, and the thing here to comment is full-time commercial activity permits versus short-term leaseholders. We have to consider overhauling the entire commercial activity permit structure. I heard from one person who said they put in an application for a commercial activity permit 3 years ago, and they've had no follow-up. So I'm asking that the district review the entire process and see where that stands and how we can make this better.
Great, thank you, Tom. Bill?
Yeah, I would just like to compliment our consultant that's doing our parking development survey out here. I did phone in or listened in on the internet to the meeting that was held on Saturday, and I thought that the contractor did a very good job of hearing comments, which we appreciate, and also responding to those comments when it was appropriate, and also our staff here that really made I think, a very good presentation.
Great, thank you. Any other commissioners? So I'll make mention of one thing. Again, also thank you to the consultants and thank you to the harbor staff for putting together a good session to talk about challenges that we hope will turn into opportunities for us as we go forward. The other thing I'd like to mention is the comment that I did make on that Saturday was really to start people thinking about their other future activities in the harbor that we're considering and looking at. One of them that I was specifically talking about when I said that was that we're looking at, been working on for the last 2 years, a development of an ocean safety, science, and education center. This is a center for the community to educate them on all things about the ocean, about our harbor, its history, the fishing industry, safety, the chemistry, big waves. We have one of the biggest waves in the world out here. So that's kind of what I'm thinking is that, you know, we're trying to think in a 1 to 5 to 10 year event, and that, you know, parking is going to be needed for those kind of things. So I didn't want to scare Sid that I'm building a strip mall or something, but we're looking at some really cool things for the community in the future.
One last
And then,
comment.
go ahead.
Well, I also attended that session and I thought it was excellent. But Jim, I really wanted to thank you and commend you for answering the questions that really were very, very pertinent and very focused regarding the plan. So thank you.
And I guess my final comment is I asked a couple of the commissioners if they, I'm sorry.
No, sorry, I didn't mean,
Oh.
I thought you were done with your comment.
No.
Okay.
I'm going to keep talking for hours. Yeah. I have an idea and we'll see how the community would like to respond to it, is that maybe once every committee meeting or every second committee meeting that one of the commissioners, if they have interest, present a 15-minute, 20-minute topic of interest. Such as myself presenting something on about the coast and about sediment transport and about how harbors build up that material, the dredging part. Tom Matoush talking about maybe for 15 minutes kind of his activities of working with the whale entanglements and all these. So these are a little bit of an education component to our commission meeting. People may think maybe it's a waste of time. I don't know. I'd like to hear feedback on if the community would be interested in going back and listening to that Bill, with his experience in civil engineering and infrastructure, about some of the things we're going to do and how they would do and plan for rebuilding pier pilings. Just items of interest that would help educate the community about what their harbor is doing and what it's all about. So that may go forward, it may not, but it's an idea. All right.
To take care of regular business first.
Oh, most certainly. Yeah, no, we would do it at the end. Certainly. Yeah, yeah. That's a good comment.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, General Manager Activity Report.
Good morning. You covered the parking presentation on Saturday, which was very positive. We covered the parking meeting that happened on Saturday, and I think it was very positive. We got a lot of feedback, and we're considering that feedback, and we'll be coming out again after that feedback has been incorporated. But one thing I do want to mention that was pretty significant this month was a meeting that Caltrans put together real quick following the parking lot meeting that we had, and Caltrans invited themselves, San Mateo County Planning, San Mateo County Public Works, Army Corps of Engineer, One Shoreline, Granada Community Service District, City of Half Moon Bay, and Coastal Commission to talk about the Caltrans projects, not necessarily the current project, but the plan that they put about moving what Highway 1 will look like in the future. And we were able to brief them on the Harbor District, all those other organizations on the Harbor District's projects with Word of 2024 and the Surfers Beach project and the Dredge project. GCSD was briefed on the park on Burnham Strip, because one of the ideas from Caltrans is to put Highway 1 down Burnham Strip as one option, right over the new park. And City of Half Moon Bay was able to come on, One Shoreline and the county. It was extremely productive. And we've scheduled a second meeting here in the third week of April. Will be hosted here at the Harbor District office to more formalize this group as a coast-side partners meeting, so that we can meet on a regular basis and talk about all the different projects on the coast side that are occurring and seek synergy or pluses and minuses and how we can work together. Not invited to the meeting, and it was not intentional on the part of Caltrans, was the resource RCD, the Mid-Coast Community Council, Coastside County Water District, and SAM. And all four of those entities have been invited to the next meeting, the third week of April. So it was a great meeting, and look forward to what we can do with that meeting in group.
What's the date? Do you know, April?
I think it's the 23rd.
Okay, thanks.
All the partners have been invited. So that was a pleasant surprise for Caltrans to step out and do that. And again, we're going to continue it on the coast for a while.
Thank you.
At the end of your report.
Yep.
Thank you so much. Operations.
Everything's been going quite well at both Soda Point Harbor and Oyster Point. It's the good weather has been bringing a lot of people to the coast, so staff have been very busy. In addition to the rains we had earlier in the month and the early spring, we've got a lot of growth taking place. So staff have been very busy with all the landscape duties at both facilities, doing a great job, keeping it all looking very good. The Dungeness crab season's winding down. We've the traditional equipment ends end this month, April 1st, and then the pop-up crab traps can still be used till the middle of July. And then we just found out yesterday that the recreational salmon is going to open April 11th. So that's gonna
South of here.
yeah, south of Pigeon Point. So it's like 20 miles south. Pescadero.
That's a.
But our launch ramp when our Soda Point Harbor
is really the kind of closest place to be able to access down south, other than all the way to Santa Cruz. So we'll be very busy, even though it is 20 miles to the south.
Designation, will they move that up further to the coast, do we know?
Yeah, we're April or May, probably. They're going to then allow it north of Pigeon
Do
Point.
you know how long the season will last? Do they know?
Not yet, no. We're not sure when they're going to open it north of Pigeon Point either. Anyway, so staff are taking this opportunity, a little bit of a slower lull, to do a lot of maintenance on the docks, both at Oyster Point and Pillar Point. Doing a great job. Nothing else.
Any questions? Admin and finance. Sure.
I believe Julie is also joining us online. But one of the things I would love to highlight is a project that Julie has really led the initiative on, is looking at we had over 1,000 boxes in storage of historical documents here at the district. And our admin team has been taking time once a month ever since I joined the district to really tackle this project of archiving all of our historical documents. A lot of things had expired that we didn't need to hold on to, and that's kind of really bringing us into this new era of digital record retention. And Julie's just done a really great job, and it's been a huge project. And I'd like to thank our admin staff for all their time on helping us get through that as well. I think it's a lot, and we've really pared down those boxes. So I thank Julie for all her effort and leaving us in good shape.
Which reduces our storage fees
Yeah.
for 1,000 boxes.
We have the document retention policy.
We do.
So that's kind of a good backup.
It is. And when we do this project, all of us have that policy in front of us, and we look at each piece of paper and make sure that, where it needs to go from there.
Yeah. Thanks, Julie. That's a lot of work.
Thank you, Rochelle. I just would like to mention one other thing, that I went to a SamTrans SB 8063 local investment plan stakeholders meeting in San Carlos. And right now they're trying to get information on what the public feels are the most important things that the bus system does for San Mateo County. There is a survey online on their website. I have passed out a few surveys, but you can also go online and take that survey. So I would encourage everybody to do that. And that's all I have right now to highlight on the admin team. Thank you.
Okay, comments?
Oh, no, I realized I didn't have my microphone on when I commended Rochelle and Julie. When they're undertaking this extensive work, they do have a document retention policy for the harbor that's been that's always kind of in front of them and it being adhered to. So thank you.
Yes, and we are trying to put electronic copies of all our old storage records online. They're all protected on our SharePoint drive. And so that way we can do a lot of, searches electronically instead of having to go search through paper for these historical files, which will in turn help with our public record request policy. And when we respond to the public. So thank you.
Great, thank you so much. The next part of the agenda is to look at the consent agenda. We did get a request by one of the members of the public to address item number 6. So we'll pull that one off of the consent and put it into the discussion. Any other commissioners want to pull anything? No?
I'll move to approve the consent, but X number 6, item 6.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion at this point?
Public
No?
comment.
Public comment? Ingalls, Ms. Ingalls? Sherry?
Sherry, yeah.
Oh, good. I can read.
That's for number 6.
Oh, that's for number 6. That's right. We pulled that off.
Yeah, I just made a motion to approve everything but number 6 because it got pulled off.
I thought he was calling.
Okay.
I thought I was calling you up too.
right.
So I'm sorry. We'll call you up in 2 minutes.
No problem. Thank you.
Can we get a vote? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, passed. All right. So now we get into
Opposed?
opposed.
No, you call for opposed. And then you
Everybody
call
said
for
aye, so-
Abstentions, and then you call for online.
Everybody said aye. Any abstentions? Online? No, there's nobody online.
Wait a minute.
We voted. All those in favor, aye, and
And why
everybody
are
said
you
aye.
asking for online?
We're not.
We're not. We're not.
Okay,
You guys are
I'm sorry.
blowing me
I
off
thought we
my
had a new board
game.
member.
All right. There's
I
no-
voted aye.
So item 6.
Okay. Section G on discussion, we'll do item 6 from the consent calendar first. So
Great.
Sherry, please come up.
Okay, now I'm coming.
Oh, do we need, yeah, that's true. Do we need a staff report?
Well, I would
You've
ask
invited
for the- I
Sherry
would
up the
ask
top.
Yeah, go ahead,
Yeah.
Sherry. Let's go.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Sherry first.
Yeah, there is. There's-
I know that I'm limited in my time. I will do my darndest to stay within it, but this is an extremely, probably one of the most important comments I've had to come before the commission in a long time. I'm extremely tired. My daughter ended up in the emergency room for 9 hours yesterday and then was admitted to the hospital. I haven't had a chance to go over there because I had to be here. That's how important it is. Thankfully, I think she'll be okay, but I don't know how long she'll be in the hospital for. So I'll start with that so you kind of understand. We were blindsided by this. We didn't hear anything about boats wanting to come to this harbor until a couple days ago. And because of what happened yesterday, I was going to get all my documents together. I've got a whole bunch of stuff that I could have gone through. I didn't have time to do that. I tried to get up at 6 this morning. I did. I end up having to do all kinds of other things that I have to take care of. Because a lot of you don't know us, my husband, Bob, and I have owned Half Moon Bay Sport Fishing since 2004. So we're 22 years this year. We own the Queen of Hearts that worked out of the harbor since 1990. We owned it for 30 years. So we've actually been working in this harbor for 36 years. And in those 36 years, I don't ever remember something like this coming up. This one is like out of the blue, hit us like, I don't know what to say. There was talk about the harbor's ordinance designating how many charter boats could be work out of the harbor. That ordinance has got to be probably 40 years old. That's one of the documents I believe I have here. That is a nice big file here that I believe it was signed in 1976, something
Sure.
like that.
Sherry, your time's up. So if you can, 3 minutes, okay, that's
Go,
fine.
yeah.
I can continue?
Yep.
Okay, thank you very much. And as Commissioner Mateusz said, there were 16 boats allowed to work out of the 2 bait shops. When the one shop, the other shop other than ours closed down, I assume what happened is the boats that were going to work out of there were then kind of just allowed to fall into the harbor's hands so that they could issue caps to vessels who would like to come in. I agree completely with Commissioner Mateusz that that ordinance needs to be revamped. It's ancient, it is archaic, and it does not cover items such as what we're dealing with right now. I don't believe its intention at any time was to allow other boats to come into this harbor, make a lot of money, and then get the heck out as quick as they can so they can go back, make money in their own harbor. I also can't believe that if the foot was put on the other, or the shoe was put on the other foot, that we would be allowed to go to one of their harbors, make lots of money when we couldn't fish down here and then come back down here. I don't think that was the intent whatsoever of that ordinance. We know everybody's desperate to go salmon fishing. Since 2020, we dealt with COVID. We dealt with 2021, a lot of the fear still of COVID and restrictions placed on all the businesses. We've had massive changes in the rock fishing seasons and regulations, complete closures, can't fish here, can't fish there, got to fish this, got to fish that, really screwing up the whole entire customer base. And I've got just a little bit more to say, and the salmon season was completely closed down in 2023, 2024, and we had 4 whopping days of salmon fishing in 2025. This year, you were asking about how long the salmon season is going to be. Right now, it's scheduled for April 11th through May 15th, south of Pigeon Point, halfway between us and Santa Cruz. But there's a caveat that there's only 21,000 fish, a quota within that time. Once that happens, it's shut off. Then there is a meeting that's going to be taking place the beginning of April at the PFMC, Pacific Fishery Management Council, where they're going to decide the rest of the season. One of the most popular proposals right now is approximately 53 days, starting July, August, something like that. But that only has 34,000 more fish. So this season could be very, very short. Regardless of what is allotted, it might be not much time.
We appreciate it. We're
Okay,
out of time.
I have,
If you want to present that, we can put it in the records, whatever you.
that would be great. I actually have copies. Can I hand them to
Great, yeah,
you?
we can do
Okay.
that. So I appreciate that.
Thank you, Sherry.
I wasn't able to get to the end.
This is your comment though, right? So we can.
This is primarily what I was,
Good, okay, yeah, no, we'll make it part of the record and.
okay.
Thank you.
And as far as me kicking out people out of our shop, it was because one person was threatening to sue me for something that I was extremely surprised that he was considering that. And another one is because he started taking people outside of the regulations that he had signed with us. And with that, he doesn't work in other shops. So that's the thing. I know I have to go, but the boat that's proposing to come in here was supposed to only be allowed to work 3 days, so many hours. He's already booked through his website every day in April except for 2.
Okay.
So.
Can we get a staff report on this? Thank you, Chair.
Sherry.
Good luck with your daughter.
President
Yeah,
Howard,
it's scary.
we have a public comment online too,
Let's do the public comment first,
right now.
yeah,
Okay.
since we already had one public comment.
Smitty, go ahead.
Yes, good morning here. Thank you for allowing me to comment. The permits for the boats were fought for back in, I believe, in 1995 by Dr. Myers to open up those permits to allow independent operators. And as my understanding of it is that there were 8 that were released, and there are 8 that are controlled by the other shop. And I am one of the people that owns one of those independent permits here, and I have for over 26 years, I believe. And at one point, yes, I was working out of the shop here, and I don't feel that the comments that were expressed were represented towards me, and if they were, I would appreciate that. But I did nothing that was untowards to cause that. All right, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much. Mr. Pruitt, a little staff report on this one. Sorry, I took all that out of order. I'll do better.
Any more public comment?
No more public comment.
Then we'll close public comments on this, right? Okay.
Okay, public comment closed. Staff report.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is for consideration of a commercial activity permit for Big C charters, operators of the charter boat outer limits.
Push your mic.
Now I'm going to push my mic. Good morning, Commissioners. This is a consideration of a commercial activity permit for Big C charters, operating the commercial charter vessel outer limits, which currently operates out of Berkeley, I believe. They currently hold a slip. They came down and got a slip. So they have a slip in Pillar Point Harbor as we speak today. What I'm asking the board is to consider the activity permit for Big C charters at Pillar Point Harbor till December 31st, 2026 as requested. And then if you approve it, authorize the general manager to execute that commercial activity permit. The district does have their ordinance, and it is over 40 years old. It limits the harbor to 16 inspected small passenger vessels and 6 uninspected small passenger vessels, otherwise known as six packs. The harbor currently has 3 inspected vessels, and the new Captain Pete, the Riptide, and Ankeny Street. Those are independent caps. And then there's one cap that's under the lease for, I call it the bake shop, but it's more than the bake shop, the fishing with Sherry, that they have the Queen of Hearts that operates under one of their caps. The district has 8 independent caps that we use to issue to charter boats, and 8 caps are issued to the bait shop through their lease. Prior to the district having the 8 caps, they were assigned under lease to another bait shop that was in the harbor. So the harbor did not have any independent caps to issue to charter boats. They were all issued through the 2 different shops that leased space at the harbor. And then after those 2, after the other bait shop went out of business for whatever reason, those 8 caps got released and the harbor assumed them. And then, as Captain Smitty was talking about, were issued to independent operators such as himself. We currently have other interested people that's contacted and submitted applications, 1 6-pack operator and another inspected vessel, asking for the same thing. And at one point of that is similar, but is the off-the-boat sales. The Harbor District has limited off-boat sales to vessels, fishermen who are home ported here in Pillar Point Harbor. For caps, we haven't placed that limit at all on other commercial activity permits.
I'm sorry, how many off-the-boat sales permits do we have?
I don't know. We have several off-the-boat sales permits, but they're issued to home ported vessels only.
Oh, I see, okay.
Those are separate than the.
Right,
commercial
I
passenger.
understand that, but I'm just trying to get the overall macro picture here. Thanks.
So we limit the commercial fishing caps for off-the-boat sales to home ported vessels, basically, that are here in the harbor. We do not do that for the 6-packs. It's never, since I've been at the district since 2020, this is the first time this has come up. And it's come up because it's a lot shorter to get down south of Pigeon Point from Half Moon Bay than it is from inside the bay. And they save a lot of money on gas for not having to return to the bay every night.
Are there any other questions by the commissioner?
Yeah, unless the board has any other questions.
Is there any questions on the staff report only?
Well, and it's meant, this was also mentioned by Commissioner Matoush. They currently, the existing bait shop sport fishing has 8 caps under their lease that they control and that they can issue. One is being utilized. They have 7 open. And in the past, vessels who've come in and my understanding is vessels that wanted to come in and fish out of Pillar Point Harbor would work with the bait shop to take one of their caps temporarily and operate under the bait shop and not come to the board. That's why this one's a little different, because instead of going to the bait shop like the vessels in the past have done, they're coming to the board because we have caps available too.
So the seven under the authority of the sports fishing / bait shop, it's their discretion who gets those.
Correct.
So how do they determine who, and how, I'm kind of new to this business. So if you can help me understand what are the elements that help them decide who gets the other seven, since they're pretty limited?
I can't speak for how they determine who issues their seven.
No, how do they determine
what
who they
we-
issue to?
For the district, we get the passenger service fees.
Right, right.
Just like we do from the Queen of Hearts.
Right. But I'm asking how the bait shop determines who gets the other seven.
You can ask
That's the discretion of the board president. If anyone, maybe Tom knows the answer to, I don't know, but
What I'd like to do is any questions on the staff report, then we'll ask for a motion, get it seconded, then we'll do discussion.
What I do know is that when they do go through the bait shop, they have to sign a contract with the bait shop.
right, I understand that.
And
If that agreement is between the bait shop and the potential
Correct.
permittee,
Correct.
right? Okay, but I just want to know what are the decision factors that go into how the bait shop determines who gets those seven permits? And it's not all seven at one time, I'm assuming it's whenever they're applied for, right? But I don't know. And I mean, it seems like ours would be our process to determine who gets the other eight
If the
would
board
be
would like to call
different.
recess for 5 minutes, I can find out. Or,
Well, I have other questions
so
too.
that's what I'm saying. That's just one way.
Discussion on it.
Oh,
We need
okay.
to go
Well, you
through
asked
that
for
process.
questions. You asked for
On the
questions.
report only.
Yeah, that's what
Okay,
I'm
okay.
asking for. So, okay, so can I ask? So, Jim, when did Big C get its slip permit? It says that they're currently a tenant, but when did they become a tenant?
Oh, just recently.
But do you know the date? I mean, if it's just recent, I get it. So they're from Berkeley. They just got a permit to be a
They're
tenant.
from the bay. Yeah, they're from inside the bay.
Okay, and then the potential two operators that you mentioned, I think somewhere in here, I just took where are they from?
The ones that have applied,
Yeah,
they're not home ported here. in Hampton
okay,
Bay.
okay, thank you.
I just wanted to make sure you're aware that we do have other vessels. that
Yeah, I
are-
understand. So then how many are in waiting for our additional 8?
We have 2 applications and another one that said they were going to
So the
submit
three, okay,
2 6-packs and a charter vessel.
okay, thank you.
Any other questions from the commissioners on the staff report only?
I am curious how the fees for staff. Oh. Thank you, Tom. I am curious about how the fees were set up. I'm sure these were last adjusted when we last adjusted our fees. But having somebody just drop in and get the regular rate and then leave, in my experience, with water and districts and sewer districts, is that if you want to show up and just pay the normal usage fee, and you're paying that usage fee year round and multiple years, that's one set of charges. But for new connections in those circumstances, there's something called a connection fee, which helps cover the costs that are created that you're buying into. And So I'm a little concerned that somebody can just drop in, make money, as you were saying, on our facilities and then leave, having only paid the same price as somebody who is here consistently paying for the existing facilities. And so I'm a little concerned because this is this is like less than dinner at local restaurants. So I'm concerned that maybe we should be looking at sort of an additional drop-in overcharge or auxiliary charge for commercial activity. I hope that makes sense.
Well, we could discuss that in a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, so do you want to take a 5-minute reset?
Yeah, let's take 5 minutes so that.
We still have more comment.
Oh, sorry, Tom.
I had questioned this 3 days a week, up to 20. I'd have to see that amended. It doesn't make sense to me unless we're anticipating a tremendous amount of bad weather.
Okay, so let's do this. Let's take a motion.
No,
And-
recess.
And
You-
then, no, we'll take a motion
You-
first, we'll get a second, and before the discussion, we'll take a recess so Jim can get that data for us, and then we'll discuss what he brings. Is that okay? Or do you-
I would rather.
I would rather take a
Get the
recess.
recess, get
Okay.
information so that if someone makes a
fine.
motion, that it's a very informed, well-informed motion.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
5 minute recess.
Thank you.
This lady here owns a big bait shop. I went by the bait shop yesterday. She's got a
Recording
sign.
stopped.
They have a family.
Recording in
crisis.
progress.
And I've known her for many years. She was there through COVID. She's there for everybody. When the catch is closed, she is there. And I don't know why Marty and Mary, they used to run the seafood place. And then you had Albert would run the catch. And I don't know why you guys let a corporation come in and do what they've done to you, because that harbor is all about the fishermen. That is the fishermen and sailors coming in. It's a harbor. It's not some big tourist attraction. It's a working harbor and it needs to stay that way. Thank you.
Recording
Alright.
stopped.
It's good. Yeah, lost that.
Reconvening the meeting, we'll start with.
You're muted.
No, George.
I was muted, but we're
Oh,
getting ready to start the meeting again. So we're now recording, comments by the general manager. You're gonna get us some information, I believe.
Two pieces of information came in. One is, it's the boats that do come in and go through the bait shop, apply or contact the bait shop. The bait shop evaluates them to make sure they're a professional run outfit. That make sure they have the proper documents such as their certificate of inspection from the Coast Guard. Make sure that they have the proper insurance to meet their requirements also. And then it's kind of like the first one, how responsive the individuals are back to the questions. And then they issue those licenses if everything works out between, and they can come to an agreement. My understanding is they have people contacting them. We'll see how those work out. Sometimes they can't come to an agreement. Sometimes they do. I don't know. But that's all private business between the charter boats contacting the bait shop and the bait shop itself.
Jim, just a quick question to that. The standards that they use, or standards is probably not the right word, but for lack of a better word, are they kind of in line with what we look for when we issue permit, the other 8?
The bait shop is also liable for
Right.
their charters. So the bait shop definitely has insurance. That
No,
meets our requirements.
for us. Are they in line with, like, we have things that we look for when we issue the other 8? Are they kind of in line with, and I know it's their separate business decision,
I would say,
but are
I
they?
would say
in-
yes, because these are all professionally
Okay.
operated charter boats
Okay, thank
out
you.
of other harbors that require the same thing.
Okay, thanks.
And then the second aspect is the Big C Charters has indicated that they want to be here long-term. Beyond that, I don't know,
What's considered long-term for them? A year?
year after year.
Okay,
I don't know what that specifically means, but they said they planned on being here long-term.
okay. Thank you.
Are they gonna need a double slip? I think that's a extremely wide vessel.
I don't know which outer limits vessel they're bringing down. If it's the catamaran or not. If it's the cat, then they'll need 2 slips, or they'll have to be on the end. I believe right now, we're working them in at the guest dock. Or not, the guest dock or working pier.
Work dock?
Yeah.
Okay, anybody else with a comment on the
I-
staff report?
I have, well,
I want to get into discussion, but we
oh,
need to-
okay.
Okay, so let's
Mine's discussion.
do a motion. Does anybody want to make a motion for this recommended action?
Well, I have a,
Well, we can amend.
here's what, I know what you're trying to do, George, but this is what I would like to see, because I'm not against this, but I'm not for it right now. Because I don't feel like I have all the facts, and this is just me because I don't know the business model and I'm trying to understand it better. I would like to continue this to next month and have a finance committee meeting on this so that I can understand, and maybe Tom's on the finance committee. He probably understands this better than I do. But I am trying to so I'm all for competition, and I think this does create competition. And what I'm trying to juggle is the competition versus how we want to keep this harbor looking like. So, and I do think that we have a trusted partner with your bait shop. But I needed, I can't vote on this right now, but that's just me. Everyone else can, I'm only 20% of this board. But I would like to bring it to the finance committee just to get a better understanding of the numbers, the macroeconomic picture in terms of competition, what it would mean to the harbor with competition, without competition. I mean, I'm just mulling it over right now, but that's just me. And I'm hoping that if we could just focus on this one issue for a month and bring it to a finance committee and bring this item back in April. And, I know that they've got Big C Charters wants to have this permit until the 31st of December, basically the end of this year. I mean, worst case scenario, we can always extend it a month. So it's January 31st, 2027, assuming this gets passed. But that's just me.
Okay, my.
Commissioner Dahlgren,
I'm sorry.
just one comment on that
Sir.
is our next meeting is the 15th of April. The season opens on the 11th.
We
And
can
they'll
have a
need
special
to
meeting too.
be able to advertise and sell spaces.
Okay.
Their Big
Why-
C Charters is already advertising and selling spaces.
Why is this coming to us so late then? This.
My assumption is because that's when the salmon seasons were announced.
No, but when did they apply for this permit? Before today?
A week or two ago.
Okay, so so within the last 2 weeks of within the first 2 weeks of March. Okay.
Right when the salmon seasons were starting to get solidified. So if we delay it to the 15th,
Well, we could have a special meeting just for this issue. I think this is an important enough issue, but like I said, I'm only 1/5 of this board, but I can't move, well,
Well-
if someone wants to make a motion, I know how I'm gonna vote because I don't feel like I'm well informed enough to make that decision right now.
The motion and a second, the way I understand it, is then allows us to open up discussion. It doesn't say you have to vote. It says we open up discussion, we can make changes during that discussion, we modify the motion that says, or direction to the staff, whatever we want. So my problem is I've been reading Robert's rules, and maybe I shouldn't have, so that's the way I thought the process works.
You're right, you're right.
All this is great discussion. I'm not disagreeing with kind of what you're saying, but I think I'm trying to be.
Well, okay, just to get the
Rigorous.
discussion
Let's get
started.
Exactly.
I will make a motion to approve the commercial activity permit for Big C charters at Pillar Point Harbor until December 31st, 2026, and authorize the general manager to execute the commercial activity permit.
Okay. Second?
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and second. We will open it up for discussion. I will allow discussion from the public. If you would like a couple minutes to talk about what you heard, we'll do that.
I appreciate that.
So come on, if you want to come up, yeah, and we'll give you a couple minutes. And then we'll get into commissioner discussion after that.
All right, I think probably the best way to do it is a couple of the commissioners, I believe, had some questions. If you'd like to ask me the questions, and that way I can answer those.
I think, well, for me, Jim answered my questions.
Okay, well, that was the,
What do you look for in your
what do we-
decision-making process to determine who gets the other 7 permits?
yeah, well, pretty much, yeah. It's that we need to meet with them if we haven't had any contact with them in the past. Make sure that they abide by the rules of the harbor, of the shop, of the fishing regulations, because that's an issue with some boats. They don't play by the rules. They don't work out of our shop. And it's not what's the word I'm looking for? Unrealistic is the word that I can't get past me. Requests. It's just being an honest person, an honest operation. And that's what we try to offer to them. I think having the shop for 21 years like we've had now, we've really become a pretty solidified part of that harbor. And we've never created any issues with the harbor. You don't see me here screaming about different things all the time. When I come here, it's because it's that important.
Okay, great.
Okay. Was there any other questions from anybody there? And as far as the history of our shop as well, we purchased the lease from Captain John's at a very substantial price. And that was because of what that lease offered, which was including the opportunity to have 8 vessels work out of our shop. At one point, we did have 5 vessels work out of the shop. But especially over the last 5 years, with everything that's been going on between the world and the fishing industry, nobody has wanted to work out of Half Moon Bay until all of a sudden there's money to be made. And now they're trying to jump here. I got to say one last thing. And the boats that are in the bay already fish below Pigeon Point. They come out of the bay and they go down there. They just want to save money and be there was, the Big C charters, that is the applicant. He already is going to be going back to the bay to do striper and halibut trips because he does a lot of those in the bay. He's not going to stay here the whole time. He is not.
So just a quick question. Sorry, George. How many a year about do you issue permit?
How many, what?
How many permits a year do you issue to have them work with?
Last 5 years, we haven't. I mean, I did
Okay.
work with Real Screamer. And that was, I believe he was there right after COVID. Unfortunately, some rules were broken and that was the end of that agreement.
So Big C could actually go to you for
He
one of
could
the.
come to me.
And so
which-
why do you think they haven't?
Because they don't want to go through me. They want to go the cheapest way possible and kind of go around me. There's, like I had mentioned to Jim in our meeting, there's a lot of testosterone in boats, captains, operators.
So do you think that they think that your standards are higher than the Harbor District standards when issuing these permits?
I don't know about standards, but as far as maybe they don't, like I said, the personalities a lot of times in this industry clash, and they don't know us. They really, he has never. I don't know if I've ever even seen him in person. So I think it's, do you contact somebody you don't know, or do you contact the Harbor District?
Thank you.
Alrighty.
Great. All right. Any other, let's have more discussion from the commissioners. Tom?
We have a public comment from Smitty.
Oh, let's take that one first. Thank you. My apologies for not asking.
All right, sorry about that. So a couple things. With these boats coming into the harbor for this short period of time, they're wanting to capitalize on that business, and I understand that. But this is going to affect your tenants here, like me and the other boats in the harbor, because we will be losing business to these boats for the short term of that. So this is definitely going to affect your tenants in the harbor, and of which I will be one. And there was in that regards with the if you do issue these temporary or these permits, there should be a minimum, as was done with my original commercial activity permit. I had to put up a bond of $10,000. It was reduced to $5,000. I still have that, believe, in my file in a CD held by the harbor. So if you do issue something, these permits, then that is something that definitely needs to be done. And to circumvent the short-term issue of that, I believe also, and I'm certainly willing to add this to my contract, is that we put in 1 year birth rent into a guarantee into part of that that form as well. I'm certainly happy to pay that on a monthly basis, or if I have to pay it on a yearly basis when I renew my certificate, I'm fine with either of those. Also, I did work out of the bait shop and was summarily dismissed back around 2000. And it was not for anything that I was doing illegally. And I just want to make that point clear that I did not operate my vessel in an illegal manner. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Smitty. Is there any other discussion online?
No more discussion.
No more discussion. Commissioner Matoush?
So it's not only saving fuel, you got to think about the people that get on these boats in the bay to come down here for salmon. It's like 4.5 hours of extra commute time. So it's going to be a great time saving for people. I look forward to seeing more business out of the harbor and seeing more boats. Think about, there's more people to patronize the bait shop. There's more people to patronize our restaurant people, more people to look at Mavericks, more people that come down here out of this harbor. The stronger it's going to make the entire harbor, taking the economic drivers of everybody coming in. I'd like to see this harbor regain the prominence that it had long ago. More boats is better.
Any other commissioners? Catherine? Oh, sorry.
A little concerned.
Microphone, please.
I much prefer to just keep it quiet, but I can't help myself. I'm concerned about what I think I heard, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, please. That it costs less to go get this same permit through the harbor than it does from one of our rent-paying businesses. And I'm concerned about that. I think that the harbor the harbor should not be undercutting the people we're renting space to. And so Jim, if you could address that, because the people who rent the space, their fees, their rent, you know, keeps is a significant part of the of our income. And that's what we pay people with and maintain things with and pay utilities with and yeah. And if we're undercutting the rent payers, that has me concerned. So please address that. Jim, I'm sorry. Jim, Tom,
Yeah,
somebody.
there you go.
Our rates and fees set on our schedule are limited by law, where the bait shop is not limited by law. We can only charge a certain amount to cover our costs, and where the bait shop doesn't have to limit the cost of what they charge. And I have no idea what the contract at the bait shop is with under their caps. But for us as a government agency, we have to limit what we charge. We can't charge $1,000 a cap because it doesn't cost us that much money to process it. So that's the main reason why we're in a situation where we might be cheaper to get a cap, but it's really driven by the law. And to address another question earlier, that Big C Charters came in and applied for a slip this week and were assigned a slip this week.
Okay, so the 300 and some dollars in their application is only for the application fee. What are the total costs for a business to come in and a fishing business and rent a berth and pay this cap and yada, yada, yada? Are they buying gas from us, from our suppliers then too?
I would assume they would get gas here if they're here, but they're not required to, no.
Okay.
They get, a vessel coming in is required, or if they want a slip, they have to go to the harbor master's office and apply for a slip to see if one's available. One's available, then they have to provide the insurance and documentation to them, proof of ownership, and they're assigned a slip. That's our normal slip length, and that's based on the length of their vessel.
Right.
And that's in the rates and fees that we'll be discussing later today. On top of that, if they want to do commercial activity out of the harbor, they need a commercial activity permit. If that commercial activity permit is for charter fishing, we're limited to the 16. Now there's an application and a permit for free for both of those. And it's less than $1,000 to get a permit from the harbor district to go and start working as under the cap. Part of the cap also is they pay a passenger service fee to the district. So every passenger that is accepted and goes charter fishing or whale watching or whatever they do on the passenger vessels, we get, I think, $2 and some odd cents a passenger.
$2?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the
Going to
passenger
$3.
service fee.
Pardon?
If we,
Approved the new fee structure.
if we approve our rates and fees that are later on, you'll see that it's $2.94 now, so we'll be going to $3 even.
That's another item on the agenda.
Wow, that's
Bill, you had a.
I agree with Tom's comment that we probably really need to look at our policy on this because it's very confusing. And the second thing that's driving this, I guess, is the fact that we never know until kind of the last minute what the fishing season is going to look like. So all these things kind of hit us under a very tight timeframe. But I'm looking at this from the perspective, I find myself kind of looking at this perspective from the public out there that wants to go salmon fishing and the district that, wants to have a viable business here, and also the partners out there that are, here and supporting it. And they are not supporting us. So it's which side are you going to side with? And I really don't know. I guess I'm tempted to think about, since there will be a salmon season this year, to kind of view the trend of tremendous demand on the public side to have access to that. And they're going to be saving a lot by not spending, 3 or 4 hours going from the bay all the way out down to Pigeon Point. And this makes that easier on the public. If they would somehow agree to come in and go through one of our partners, that would be ideal. Now, whether they would or wouldn't, I don't know. That's their decision. So I would like to see more boats in our harbor. Not an easy decision.
Thanks, Bill. I kind of feel the same way, I believe in the competition. I think that's good if we held everything constant. In other words, if we go back 15 years when salmon was open and crab was open and you had all these numbers and you had X amount of boats, more people fishing, I think all that's good. The challenge, I think, as expressed by others earlier, was that, salmon was shut down for 3 years. And now it's starting to open up and people are starting to see that. So how do you determine what's the balance in the equation that allows more enterprise, but also takes care of the people that we have? So I'm not sure where that number is because we're really not sure about what the fishing really is going to be. So it kind of sounds like we're not ready to make a final decision on this. Do we have any direction that anybody wants to give staff or make a changed motion?
I'll make an amended motion.
Okay.
Trying to figure out when we can have a special meeting so that we can deal with this issue before salmon opens. So right now there's the motion to approve the commercial activity permit, et cetera, but I'll make the amended motion to continue this to a special meeting in the next 2 weeks, probably, I don't know, April 1st. I mean, I'm just,
That's not a good move. No.
April 2nd. I mean, I don't know. I'm just, because April 1st just happens to be a Wednesday. So that's 2 weeks. Is that 2 weeks from now? 2 weeks from now. Not to be confused with April Fool's Day. But so, I mean, I would make that motion and have a discussion on it. And maybe, I don't know, even have a finance committee meeting beforehand if Tom agrees, or if he thinks that it's even necessary, or if Jim thinks that it's sufficient for enough time for you to get more information. And I guess we can discuss what information that is.
Okay, we have a motion.
We had a motion and a second.
I made,
Second on the floor previously.
I'm the
Call
motion.
for the question on that. I personally would support this boat coming in. If there's some issue and several other boats want to come down, first ask them if they want to work through the bait shop. The bait shop will charge each of the boats an additional fee. So it's more expensive to operate a charter boat out of this harbor than it is to simply work as an independent.
I get it. So I made the motion and I'm amending my motion. So someone can second my amended motion.
Second, whoever seconded your motion,
You're the,
that was Bill, needs to
So-
accept the amendment.
Do you accept the amendment?
Yeah, I'll accept it.
Okay, so we
So
have.
that's
an
the amended
We have a
motion.
second. Any further discussion on that?
Why don't we just clarify what the motion is now?
basically to, oh, sorry. Basically to continue this discussion item to a special meeting. And I have April 1st or 2nd, whatever staff thinks is a good time, 2 weeks from now. So that we can, so that Jim can even get some more information to answer our questions that have been put out there today.
So let me ask the general manager, timetable wise, when would be the drop dead date for this decision? If we,
For the boats to make the decision, my recommendation is that we have the meeting earlier than April 1st.
okay,
Okay, that's fine.
The afternoon of the 26th or the 24th.
Well, I can't, I would be okay with the 26th. I can't do the 24th. Not that I need to be there. What, Tom?
Monday.
That's that's a really tough week.
yeah,
For me-
23rd is bad, 24th is good.
I can't do 24th. I have a minor procedure happening that day.
23rd is out, but we can all make it all work on the afternoon of the 25th or the 26th. Or 24th, 25th, or 26th.
I can do, the only day that day I can do is the 26th.
Do it in the afternoon of the 26th.
That's what we're talking about, the afternoon.
Yeah, I can do the afternoon after lunch on the 26th.
1 o'clock on the 26th.
That works. Work for everybody else?
Is that for the special meeting or the finance committee?
No, there is no finance committee
We're talking about
meeting.
finance committee unless your committee wants to meet.
Well, I chair that
And
committee.
so it starts at what, 1?
Can we do 1:30?
Yeah, we just, whatever the board president tells me.
We do 1:30 on the 26th.
12:30?
1:30.
Yes.
I have a meeting at noon.
But we have a motion.
So you need this.
Yeah, the motion is to continue this topic to the special meeting on March 26th at 1:30 PM.
Okay, do we have a second? Bill, you had the
Oh,
second.
yeah.
Second, Bill, and seconded. Any more discussion? Can we do a roll call vote, please?
President Delmarat,
Yes.
Commissioner Jane Crowley,
Aye.
Commissioner Mathush,
No.
Commissioner Slater Carter,
Yes.
Commissioner Zemke.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Jim, I'm curious, you just said brief, doesn't need to be comprehensive survey of maybe what Santa Cruz does and other ocean ports.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, now we get into the discussion.
business.
Part of the business. Rates and fees. Modena. Modena?
Thank you. Thank you so much. You push your mic.
Yes, I will. Thank you so much. So this item is to consider initiating increasing the rates and fees for fiscal year 2026-27, and that would become effective July 1st of 2026. In 2017, the Harbor Commission voted to benchmark our increase of rates and fees with the Bay Area Consumer Price Index. So that's kind of taken some of the guesswork out of going through this process. And so in 2025, that percentage increase was 2.2%. So all the attachments to the staff report reflect that 2.2% increase. There's a schedule for Pillar Point Harbor, Oyster Point Marina, and for the district's events. This increase would reflect a $63,000 increase to operating income. And I wanted to give a little example of what that 2.2% could feel like to our rates and fees. So if you had a 40-foot vessel on the commercial side at Pillar Point Harbor, that berth fee is currently $469 per month. And the new rate would increase by $11, which is the 2.2%. So it would go from $469 to $480. Just wanted to give you an example of what that increase would look like. The rates and fees also include 3 new fees for the district. One is for a parking permit here at our admin building. We have some surplus parking, just a few spaces in our lower parking lot for it wouldn't be for boats and trailers. It's a very small lot, but thinking about the need around the community, we are considering issuing a very small amount of permits, maybe 3 to 5, for a monthly fee to be able to park in our lower lot. And so that would be for $75 per month per stall. In addition, we have our trailer storage lot that we purchased last year, and we are collecting monthly rents for those stalls. We just recently approved a license agreement for that lot, and we need to be able to collect a security deposit, and that has not been on our rates and fees. So adding in the security deposit for our trailer storage lot. And then we also purchased some property that's right up next to the harbor, and it is currently undeveloped. And we'd like to turn that potentially, I want to have the rates and fee in there is for transient trailer storage. So we have people coming into our community, getting a hotel, getting a transient slip with us for their boat, but there's nowhere to put their trailer. And so we want them to be able to enjoy our facility and the coast, and how can we help accommodate that? And so looking at adding a $30 a night charge for transient trailer storage. So those would be the 3 new fees.
I think something about, oh, sorry. Raising my hand.
I recognize.
Thank you.
Turn on your mic. Is that the end of this staff report?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
it's perfect timing.
Something I'd like to do is perhaps to tie the transient trailer spot to the necessity that they are using, that they are going to be having a boat there. I wouldn't want this to turn into long-term storage for people who can't, who live in like a housing tract or an HOA somewhere that says you can't park your boat storage in your front yard.
I asked about that. I said the same thing, Catherine.
And when I do the quick math on that, should they do that, we would be charging them $900 a month to do that. And this lot would be prepaid. So from a finance perspective, if they wanted to pay $900 a month prepaid, we might want to consider that. I would have to say that I did confer with Harbor Master Tibby on his recommendation for this. And he said the same thing, that he would like to see that linked to the transient slip that potential customers might have. And so as we build out an agreement for this transient service, I think that that's a great point.
Well, I like $900 a month too. Maybe we could figure out some remote place that we could do a long-term lease on to put in long-term storage for those. Certainly, we don't want to inconvenience our water and harbor facility users, but
We do have another trailer or another area to store trailers long-term.
good. Then that's good to know. Where is it?
Right across the street from this.
181 Princeton.
Next to the yacht club.
Oh, it's that one. I better watch myself. Good. Thank you for that information.
Any other questions on the staff? On the staff report? Or is it for discussion?
No, public comment.
So
I'd love to have I'd love to have a chat with you about my experience in running meetings offline because I'll just leave it at that. I make a motion that we approve the rates and fees schedule effective July 1, 2026, and effective until July 30, 2027.
Yeah, I'll second that, and it's to initiate.
It's
the
just an issue,
proceedings.
and we'll
Right.
bring it back next month, correct?
And I will second that to initiate the proceedings to increase rates and fees.
Discussion. Do we have anybody from the public online to discuss? No? Okay, commissioners, discussion.
I think that's a great job.
I just want to add that I heard from a current tenant that they were in support of this and that it was important to keep the harbor safe and clean and have the staff be able to, maintain the harbor. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
I guess my only concern, and it may not be that important, is the bigger picture of world economics right now with fuel prices and costs going sky high. Do we need to take that as part of a consideration of this 2% and maybe delay it for a while until we see what happens? It's just, there's a lot of uncertainty, certainly directly with the fuel prices, that's going to affect all of our fishing industry people. So that, I don't know, maybe it's not warranted as a concern, but.
It was for me,
Okay.
but since we're not getting full rental income from our tenants, I mean, I'm not trying to put this off on others, but I think at this time is as good a time as any. And I mean, I get where you're coming from and I agree, but everyone who complains about money coming in, not you, but we've heard it so many times from members of the public. That all that we do to make the harbor area vibrant, and it is an anchor destination area for the coast, I think, it costs money, and I've said this before, and we're in the middle of dealing with our tenant road. That income is going to be inconsistent, and this isn't going to be, when is this going to be effective?
July 1st.
Yeah, so there's a few months for planning and all of this, but I don't think it's enough to even help our income generation. But I also don't think it's enough, and I could be wrong, to make a huge dent in the businesses right now. The harbor needs our support right now.
Any other discussion? Bill, Tom, no? Good. Okay, hearing none. We'll take a vote to approve the motion. Can we do a roll call vote, please? Yes.
Mr. Jane Crawley,
Aye.
Commissioner Mathush,
Aye. No.
Commissioner Slater Carter,
Yes.
Mr. Zemke.
Aye. Okay. All right, number 2, first look on a budget. We have Rochelle's sister. Her twin sister doing the presentation.
Well, our first look budget is our first step in approving a 26-27 budget for the district. It's really our first stab at forecasting where we'll be. So I'm going to share just some of those figures with you as we put together estimates and projections. Is that we will have 16.012 million in revenues and 13.728 million in operating expenditures. And I mean, and just to be very simple, that those are good numbers. We have more revenues than expenditures. So that if you do the math there, it's 1.684 million, and that includes $600,000 for election costs. So in 26-27, we are anticipating having 2 open seats. And so, we never know how that's going to play out. So we do budget the $600,000 for those open commission seats. We are projecting a $300,000 capital improvement program for the next fiscal year. It's a very conservative program, really just maintenance on our search and rescue vessels, $50,000 for each facility, and then $200,000 allocated for the general manager's capital improvement projects. And we are in the process of finishing some very large capital improvement projects. So along with our Surfers Beach and dock work at Oyster Point Marina. The working capital balance as of June 30th, 2025 was 15.806 million, and it's estimated to be 8.76 million July 1st. And a little over 3 million of that is required for reserves per the district's policy. One of the things that's happening in our county that, and I will say a quick thank you to our finance committee members who asked me to include this in the staff report. And I think it is valuable to understand that the county of San Mateo is in the process of reviewing different appeals with the assessor's office. And so recently Genetech had an appeal, and that resulted, and those were for the tax years of 2000 through 2005. And it was a pretty large settlement that they received from the assessor office, and that is going to result in a reduction of $60,000 to the Harbor District next year. We're going to see that reduction in our October and November payments from the assessor's office. But this budget does take into consideration that reduction, and we'll keep a close eye on that in the finance committee as well as these other appeals make their way through the assessor's office. There could be more impact to our budget and in years to come as they do that. And we'll hope that it won't be a significant impact. We know that it's been a more substantial impact to our local public schools than to our special districts. So just wanted to include that highlight. We could have some projections changed once we get better estimates on liability insurance, workers' comp insurance, and healthcare. And healthcare usually comes later in the spring. Last year, we had some significant increases, so we'll be watching that and adjusting those budget numbers as we move through this process through the spring. And then we do have some uncertainty with leases, and so we'll continue to watch that. And as it progresses again through the spring, we might need to change our revenue projections based on our tenants.
Great, thank you. Since this is for information only, we'll just open up for discussion, questions, whatever the commissioners would like to do.
Can I add on to what Rochelle talked about with regard to the reassessments of Genentech? So just to give y'all a timeline, this downward reassessment of their property values is what's determining the property taxes that will be going to every city and special district and school district that collects property taxes for their revenues. And this has been going on since 2000. And I think the appeal, I want to say it happened around 2013, around there somewhere. So the appeal just got resolved, and it's not just going to be the Harbor District that's affected. It's going to be every city, every special district, every school district, and also I think dependent special districts. So in the letter that, I got a letter, or I saw a letter, it actually outlined which districts, which schools, districts, all of that. So we're not alone in this. The way that the dollar amount was determined is the percentage that we get from the taxes that we currently receive. So that's the percentage that's going to be actually allocated out. In other words, it's not like we're writing a check. They're just not giving us that amount. I don't know if it's over time. Is it this year and next year, right? Or just this year?
It's just in October and November of 2026.
Yeah.
Our supplemental, and I'm sorry that the term is evading me, that both of those two payments will be reduced to equal that $60,000.
So just to make sure that y'all know, we're not paying them a check. It's just not going to be included in, actually a supplemental property tax receipt, something like that, right?
And it'll be reduced, whatever that payment will be.
But, and I asked about this and thank you, Rochelle, for putting this in, at our finance committee meeting, just to understand what kind of hit our budget will take. And it sounds like we can cover that.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'd like to comment. As long as I have been on an elected board, which is post when the property taxes for special districts was reduced in order to by ERAF in order to send more money to the schools, which they've been now doing all these bond issues to increase our taxes anyway. But that's, whoops, I'm glad that, so as long as I have been here, I have been advising the boards I sit on that you can't count on this money,
ERAF.
ERAF
Or
money.
excess ERAF.
Yes, and that's exactly what we're talking about here is this is the money we get from property taxes for the district.
No, I think this is our normal allocation. Excess ERAF, I think, is something else.
That's my understanding as well.
Right.
But
This is the percentage that's on your tax bill that says X percentage to the Harbor District. This is the dollar amount. This is not excess
Whoa.
ERAF from what I understand.
we do also receive supplemental, and we don't factor that into our budget because we can't
Right.
project that. So you're right on that guidance as well.
Well, I'm shocked then that this isn't an across the board. But in fact, the county is making the special districts.
No, it is across the board. What do you mean by that?
They are not going after the schools
Yeah,
on
they
this.
are. They are. Yeah, so as I said, every agency, school districts, cities, all the special districts that get or that receive tax dollars from, this is basically, this is Prop 13 taxes that the county gets, and then we get a portion, the school district get a portion. So it's affecting all of the agencies that receive taxes from this pool of money from the state. Yeah, I get it where you're coming, but it's pretty complicated, but it's, my concern is that I don't think this is going to be a one-time thing. And so I think that we need to be prepared in our budget to deal with future situations like this. And maybe at our finance committee, then whenever the next one is, we can talk about a plan that deals with this, because I think this wasn't a surprise to everyone, but I think what was a surprise is that the assessor's office didn't keep the agencies informed consistently. So now you've got these payments, or not, well, lack of a better pay, like the reduction of your budget or of the money that you receive coming not out of the blue, but after 13 years, about call it 10 to 15 years, that we're now getting this news during a pretty, like a budget crunch for a lot of agencies, especially the schools. So just to let you know, Catherine, at least the two school districts that I've seen on this spreadsheet, which are the San Mateo Union High School District and the Sequoia Union High School District, their allocation is over $1 million. So that's the reduction in their budget that they're going to have, which is significant.
Yes.
So it's across the board for every agency that we're in city and school district that receives money from this pool.
I think this is, and this is somewhat off topic. I apologize, George. I think somebody needs to take a closer look at the assessments being levied in this county. I think there's some serious issues, and this is only the symptom of a deeper disease. Thank you.
My concern, I agree, Catherine, is the accuracy of the assessments so that there's predictability for budgets. So, and like I said, we'll never know who's going to appeal or actually put in for a reassessment downward. which that's how this is all coming to us right now. And this was a huge issue with Genentech because they're such a big, they're probably the top three and maybe number two largest employer in the county. And so it's a huge, huge deal. So well, I would like to somehow figure out how we can plan for this, even though you can never really fully plan for this.
Thank you. Any other comments by any other commissioners? Thank Rochelle's twin sister for the report.
And I will see you next month with our preliminary budget. And so thank you very much.
Thanks, Rochelle, into the finance team. Y'all,
Yes.
this is really great information. Thank you.
Last item for the day is the California Special District Association Board of Directors call for nomination.
We received a letter from the CSEA, the California Special Districts Association, letting us know that seat C, which is our area under the California Special District, is open. And we're soliciting for candidates to run for a 3-year term to serve on the CSEA board. We can nominate either a commissioner or a member of the management team. Or myself, basically.
Do you want to do it, Jim?
I do not have time.
Okay.
Do we have any nominations?
I would note I already sit there, so
So
two from the same district might,
have to nominate someone.
no.
But we could, but do
But we
you like
could.
this person?
I think this is a really good board and I think Chad is doing a very good job. This board has been on an upward, consistently upward and problem-solving mode for its existence. And I think the board adds a lot of content to what the staff is doing, and Chad is good.
Well, so can we just say that we support him for his reelection? Would you be okay with that? I just want to give him
I
some
don't-
support if you like. We don't have to do anything.
I don't know why we have.
We don't have to do anything.
No.
Unlike some, I don't think we need to make a comment on everything.
Okay.
Concur.
Mhm.
Fine with me.
So with that, we'll do future agenda items. Any commissioners have any agenda items they would like to add to a
I would.
future meeting?
So, Tom, at the beginning of the meeting, made a comment about doing a comprehensive look at our commercial activity permits. Do you want this to be on a future agenda to direct, so that we can direct staff to do some research on that?
Does staff feel like they're directed by my comment or would
Well,
we
you-
need an additional meeting?
Well, first of all, your comment was much needed, but the board has to vote on whether or not we want to give staff that direction, which is why I'm asking if you want to put it on a future agenda. So that it's 5 of us directing our general manager.
I guess I'm in a quandary about saying we have to have a meeting to direct staff, or does staff understand that this is something worth looking at? We had a commissioner and we had a leaseholder both say that this entire system needs to be looked at and very potentially revamped. So if staff does not feel directed at this point, then yes, I would support a meeting at a future date. How does staff feel about the issue?
Commissioner, President Dahmer, the staff would appreciate, and I think it would be appropriate to assign an ad hoc committee to study this and develop it before we bring, it's a very complicated process, changing the ordinance code, and will take a lot of time. And working with the ad hoc committee, I think, is a better track before we bring it back to the whole board.
I mean, an ad hoc committee, Jim, or can it just be the standing finance committee?
That's, that
Because
could
I
be
would
the,
support that.
that could be the ad hoc committee that's a committee assigned to it.
Does the finance committee want to take that on as a kind of additional to what they're also doing to look at it?
I'm fine with that. Tom, are you?
Fine, okay. That's.
So that's the direction then.
Directions, we'll leave it with the finance committee and staff can prepare whatever information they require.
And then we'll bring it back.
Through the
Then
chair,
we'll bring it back after, yeah.
through the chair,
I'm sorry.
I think there are more policy issues than finance issues. So I think that it needs to be looked at, not just financially. And so I'm concerned about assigning this just to the finance committee when there are other policy issues.
I'm okay. I agree with that, Catherine, but I think that's the start. And then we can bring it back and then direct it to another committee or do another ad hoc policy committee for commercial activity permits.
Sure.
So that's not the end all is what I'm saying.
Right, but
Yeah, no,
however, I think this is something, as Tom pointed out, this is something that we need to be able to resolve sooner rather than later.
well, I think that Virginia is correct. I think it's a place to start. And then the finance committee can indicate where they think policy issues that need to be addressed further by others can.
Or this board.
Yeah, well, then, yeah, the whole board, yeah. So. Any other future agenda items? Bill, Tom, you good? Okay, I would just like to say as president, I am pardoning myself today for any mistakes I made in running this meeting.
You're fine.
So
Don't second.
I got
guess
no
it.
letters from any other commissioners to pardon them also, so they're not pardoned.
So I'll make a
I can pardon
motion to
myself.
Go
adjourn.
further.
Meeting's adjourned.
Wait, we didn't vote.
Oh, we can need to vote.
Yeah.
Aye, everybody, aye.
Hi.
See,
It's.
now I have to part.